Thank you for tuning in to HardNews TV4. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today is January 2nd, 2021, and these are the top 10 that you need to be aware of for today. So this first article is from yesterday. 2 Minnesota lawmakers say states' virus deaths are inaccurate and they demand a nationwide audit. Remember on the top 10 yesterday, they said that the flu has vanished. And I said, yeah, because they renamed the flu COVID. They renamed murder-suicide COVID, death by motorcycle accident, death by 103-year-old natural causes as COVID. So 2 Minnesota lawmakers are saying something's not right. We need a nationwide audit. Well, look at this. 2 Minnesota legislators who believe their state's virus death count is inaccurate are calling for a nationwide audit to find out how many people died from something other than the virus. And look at this part. If you could hit a threshold of 161 admissions to your local hospital with the virus diagnosis between January and June, you received $77,000 of additional money for each one of those admissions. So y'all, if I was not a Christian, and if I didn't have a moral compass, and if somebody told me for every label that I put on somebody, you got COVID, I got $77,000, baby, believe if I didn't have a conscience, I'd be labeling everybody with COVID for that $77,000. But Jesus Christ makes me honest. But I'm just saying, if you've got people that are not Christians, head of hospitals, doctors, health conglomerates, and you're told, and people on your board, you might be a Christian, and then people on the board higher than you saying, no, you're going to label them that or you're going to lose your job. Do y'all see the temptation for people to lie? Let's go to article number 2. This article is from December 31st, 2020. Radical leftists attack on gas lines in Colorado leaves thousands without heat. And remember, I've been telling y'all how they're talking about the power grid is going to go down and how it's going to be a harsh winter. And I think they're going to freeze people out. Okay, this seems like a script, but let's get into it. And then I'm going to show you what I found yesterday in my little local place. The FBI is now investigating what the police are calling an intentional attack on the gas service lines in and around Aspen, Colorado. According to ABC, coordinated attacks involved 3 separate Black Hills Energy gas line sites, 1 in Aspen and 2 elsewhere in Pitkin County on Saturday. According to Assistant Police Chief Bill Lynn, the saboteurs had some knowledge to understand what they were doing. They tampered with the flow lines. They turned off the gas lines. Y'all, this could be an inside job, okay? Police found the words "Earth First" written in black marker on the pipes at one of the sites. A second reference to a radical environmental group was found at another disrupted natural gas pumping site near Aspen. Okay, so if they're living in Colorado, do you think somebody's really going to want to sabotage their own heat? When look at the sub heading right here. Temperatures drop to near 0 degrees. And they're interrupting the heat of that area. So what made me want to report on this is by something that happened to me yesterday when I went to the Dollar General store in my little area. So yesterday, I go to get propane at the little Dollar General right here. There was a wet sign hanging over, so I held it up so you could read it. Temporarily out of propane. Then I had taken a picture of both of them. They used to only have one, and a couple of months ago they ordered a second one because people were stocking up, I guess. I don't know, but they were running out of propane too fast. So when I went in, I asked the lady, when are y'all going to get propane again? She said, I don't know. She said, we've been trying for 6 weeks now. I keep putting in orders from it. We can't even get in touch with the company to find out what's going on. So I said, well, I'm going to look into this. And Miss Jennifer said, please do. And if you find out, let us know something. Well, look what I found out. While gas lines are being cut in Colorado and freezing temperatures, look at this. Just type in propane shortage. All kind of information is going to come up. December 7th, propane shortage, an unexpected side effect of the pandemic. Potential propane shortage this fall. Now, this was in July. So they were saying during the summer that there was going to be a propane shortage. I think it's all scripted. Last fall's shortfall of propane led to an emergency declarations covering 9 Midwest states. But the 2019 harvest season dealt an abundance of overly wet corn, blah, blah, blah. December 5th, pandemic is creating an increase in demand for propane. Propane shortage today could turn into anhydrous. I don't know what that word even means. Let's look it up. So what I can understand is like without water. It means without water. Propane shortage today could turn into anhydrous shortage tomorrow. Yesterday we got the call that we wouldn't be able to receive another shipment of propane, and they don't know when we would get another one. Yep, but it was the driest corn he's harvesting. So who knows what's coming, but let's look at the next article on this. Propane shortage feared after pipeline explosion. Propane shortages expands. Propane supplies feel heat as COVID drives dining outdoors. U.S. states declare emergencies to help farmers hit by propane. So now they're drying up the propane availability while radicals are attacking the gas lines for natural heat in Colorado, and propane supply is drying up. And then we read last week that Russia holds in their hand the playbook to bring down our electric grid. Who knows what they're about to do to people during the winter months? But let's go on to article number 3. This is from January 2nd. I've never heard of a WINCO Foods. WINCO Foods in Oregon turns off self-checkout on elderly woman trying to check out with groceries over mask rules. And what did that remind me of? People not being able to go grocery shopping if they don't have the mask reminds me of people not being able to grocery shop if they don't have the mark. So they just shut down the electronic checkout for this lady. And it reminded me of the trailer of the movie Gray State that David Crowley got killed over. Here's the scene when the woman's in the grocery store and can't buy because she don't have the mark on her arm. Did y'all notice on the sign it said be smart, be safe? Don't that sound like the mask situation? Let me back up and see if I can see it. There it is right there. Be smart, be safe. Jeez. So the oppression is going to get worse if we don't play along, because let me show you what Dr. Fauci says in article number 4. Okay, so the same Dr. Fauci that I showed y'all the documents was over testing of HIV and AIDS drugs on unknowing foster children in the 80s that was doing, unethical experiments on people back then because he's a sick narcissist. Well, let's hear what he has to say about this. Fauci, return to normal life depends on vaccine rollout and a rather strict adherence to restrictions. Now let's scroll and see what he said. Last month, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director added that other mitigation measures, including universal masking. So now the hammer's about to come down on everybody. Okay, there's going to be a universal response that's coming, because right now they've all been complaining that each country is hit and miss, and some people are being successful and some aren't, and there's no uniformity in the way that they are addressing this universal emergency. Universal masking. So, will this kind of behavior become universal? That if you don't get along with the mask, then you're not getting anything at the grocery store? Let's go to article number 5. This is from Breitbart from yesterday. Lockdown forever. Vaccine won't mean end to social distancing, says UK government doctor. Y'all, they are going to come out hard out the gate pretty soon. Now, article number 6, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what the angle of the propaganda is, but there's some propaganda in this and some foolishness things that they want us to believe. West Virginia health officials mistakenly gave 42 people Regeneron, I don't know how to say it, COVID treatment instead of the vaccine shot. I called some BS on this story. I think it's like another test. I'm not sure why, but let me see. Y'all tell me how this mix-up could have happened. 42 people in West Virginia received Regeneron's COVID-19 monoclonal antibody treatment. I know nothing about science. All I know is political science and bullshit. So anyway, antibody treatment instead of Moderna's vaccine on Wednesday, the West Virginia National Guard said. The National Guard said it learned of the error on Wednesday. The antibody treatment, which is given through infusion, is seen as a promising treatment when administered early on after the infection. Now, this that they got through an IV and not through a syringe. You don't think somebody could have said, hey lady, ain't I supposed to get this in a vaccine? Y'all might want to check that. We got 42 dumb people. The state's National Guard, so the National Guard was stupid too. They watched it go down. Said 42 people received the treatment, which is given intravenously at a vaccination clinic. I don't even like the sound of that. Staffed by the Boone County Health Department. Did y'all ever see the movies like A Thief in the Night and A Distant Thunder and Prodigal Planet and all that? You remember they had to go into that clinic to get the chip in them? I don't like this is called a vaccination clinic. Everyone who received the antibody and treatment instead of the vaccine, which is given via a shot in the arm, have been contacted. Y'all, really? I mean, I don't know what's going on with this, but something is definitely not right. Now, look how crazy our political system is going. This article is from yesterday. Nancy Pelosi bans the terms like mother, daughter, father, and son in House rules. Like, we don't have serious problems, and she's banning the words mother and father. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Rules Committee Chairman James McGovern unveiled the rules for the 117th Congress on Friday, which contain future-focused proposals, including the elimination of gender terms such as father, mother, son, and daughter. Y'all, this is really happening. Our elected officials who raise their children being called mother and father, who's now got grandkids, they raise their kids in a traditional kind of way, but now they are pulling the rug under the family structure. They are undermining the construct of the American family. This package, which will be introduced and voted on once the new Congress convenes, includes sweeping ethics reforms, increases accountability for the American people, and makes the House of Representatives the most inclusive in history, said the Committee on the Rules in a statement. House Speaker Pelosi went on to say she is pleased to join Chairman McGovern in introducing the visionary rules package. In Clause 8, gendered terms such as father, mother, son, daughter, brother, uncle, sister, aunt, first cousin, nephew, niece, husband, wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, stepfather, stepmother, stepson, stepdaughter, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, grandson, or granddaughter will be removed. In their place, terms such as parent, child, sibling, parent, sibling, first cousin, sibling, spouse. This is getting really ridiculous. Now, here's another article that backs that. This is from Axios from today. He, she could be they in the new Congress. The U.S. House of Representatives is poised to rewrite its rules, swapping out male and female references like he and she for gender-neutral terms in a diversity and inclusion push by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Y'all don't think God is about to judge some stuff? The Bible says, in the beginning, God created them male and female. Male and female, he created they, them. But the Bible says in Romans, just as they did not want to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do things they ought not do. God is about to let them be as foolish as they want, and then the hammer is coming down. Let's go to article number 8. Now, everything we've been hearing in the news all of a sudden for the last 6 months is UFOs, UFOs, UFOs. OSHIT. Blue glowing UFO startles Hawaiian residents. They are about to unleash Project Bluebeam. Footage has emerged of an unidentified flying object spotted in the skies over Leeward, Hawaii earlier this week. Multiple videos show what appears to be a glowing oblong mass both in the sky and in the water. The incident occurred on Tuesday and was immediately reported to law enforcement authorities. So they are running their little psyop. Let's go to article number 9. Now, this is from December 11th, but it was a very good article I wanted to do. The Great Reset is here. How American and global elites are leveraging the virus to socialize the world. 2020 has been one of the strangest years in American history, from the sham of a presidential impeachment to the coronavirus pandemic and economy-destroying national lockdowns to widespread hysterical demands to defund the police while Marxist mobs burn and loot American cities, to big tech scandalously suppressing journalism it doesn't like, to big media openly siding with the senile and corrupt Joe while portraying Trump as a mentally ill white supremacist dictator, to November's breathtakingly rigged election, likely the most crooked and corrupt in U.S. history. We're seeing the global takeover. And in between these wall-to-wall crises, blue state mayors and governors still found time to close churches while keeping strip clubs open, destroy as many small businesses as possible, while encouraging the riots and threatening law-abiding citizens with arrest and imprisonment for having too many people in their home, or threatening them with arrest for not having on a mask. The widespread anxiety, confusion, distrust, and most of all anger and fear resulting from these developments all but guarantees ongoing division. But apparently that's not enough for today's arrogant leader class. Right now, under the cover of the virus pandemic, global elites, including right here in America, are actively engaging in ushering in a completely new world system they call the Great Reset. Y'all need to go read the rest of this. I'm at 19 minutes already, almost 20, but I'm going to leave y'all the links. Now let's look at the last article. Now this article is from December 28th. And we've been talking about how it's been revealed that Amazon's Alexa and all the smart devices are listening to you. And it came out that Alexa even records people having sex, and Amazon hired thousands of real people to listen to what was on these tapes. And we've just been talking about your TV spies on you, cable boxes spy on you, and this is not conspiracy. Go Google it for yourself and see the hundreds of articles on this. Well, you might say this article number 10 doesn't apply to me. Insecure Wheels. Police turn to car data to destroy a suspect's alibi. Loser privacy standards for vehicle data are a treasure chest of data for law enforcement. So you might say, well, I'm not committing a crime, so I'm not worried about what they find on my computer, on my car. So this story goes back to 2017. On June 26, 2017, the lifeless body of Ronald French, a bearded auto mechanic with once twinkling eyes, was mysteriously found in a cornfield in Kalamazoo County, Michigan. Now let's get into what they found out in his car. They wanted to do an emerging field, digital vehicle forensics, which focuses on extracting the treasure trove of data stored in an automobile's onboard computers. They returned to French's 2016 black Chevy Silverado pickup truck, which had been stolen around the time it vanished, and discovered time-stamped recordings of someone else's voice using hands-free system to play Eminem on the radio at the time of French's murder. The voice, according to the police reporter obtained by NBC News, belonged to Joshua Weasel. That's funny. Wessel, I guess. I'll call him Weasel Wessel. Now 32, who used to tinker on cars and motorcycles with French. Weasel's voice was identified by relatives, including his wife. Okay, so think about this. If you've got OnStar or something, it might be listening to you. There's spy devices in your own car. And you might be saying, well, I'm not going to rob nobody. I'm not going to carjack nobody. That's good. They can find out who took my car or whatever. But what if what you're saying in the privacy of your own car is being recorded and they come arrest you for spouting out anti-government conversations? In recent years, investigators have realized that automobiles, particularly newer models, can be a treasure trove of digital evidence. Their onboard computers generate and store data that can be used to reconstruct where a vehicle has been and what its passengers were doing. They reveal everything from location, speed, and acceleration to when doors were open and closed, whether texts and calls were made while cell phones were plugged into the infotainment center, as well as voice commands and web histories. But that boom for forensic investigators creates fear for privacy activists who warn that the lack of information security backed into vehicles' computers poses a risk to consumers, and who call for safeguards to be put in place. And y'all remember a couple of years back when Obama did the cash for clunkers? Because those old cars couldn't be listened to. Those old cars didn't have computers to be hacked, but they gave you a couple of $100 to get those cars off the road and put you into a car that can be spied on. So y'all just pay attention to the top 10 today. Lawmakers want a nationwide audit because people are getting $77,000 per diagnosed case. People are not having heat this winter. Who knows what's coming with that? Store cuts off checkout if you're not playing by their rules. Fauci says there needs to be universal masking. Lockdowns look to be forever. 42 people given an IV instead of a vaccine. Really? Nancy Pelosi is taking the words daddy, mama, father, daughter, brother, sister, mama and papa. Powers that be are about to perform some kind of fake event in the skies. The great globalist reset is here. And everything we do, say, go, wear, look at is all being recorded. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.